Glad somebody's on it. Welcome,
All right.
recorded people.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Mackenzie and I have been a coach for 5 years now. And what's funny is I actually went back and looked at the initial conversation I had with my coach when I was first invited to the opportunity. And it made me laugh because I'm not even joking. I literally had every single excuse and hesitation in the book. Because when I started, I didn't know what Beachbody was. I didn't know what a challenge group was. I pretty much didn't know anything about anything. So I was really reserved at first, and I said all of the things. I would get an invite, and I'd say, "Oh yeah, this seems fun, but yeah, I don't have the money. Yeah, I do not do shakes. I'm an introvert. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, my husband, he told me no. He told me I can't do this, which was a lie. But my biggest hesitation that I said over and over again was time. I said I had no time. My plate was too full. I was working full time as a nurse. I have 2 kids. My husband travels. He's a college coach. So I said all of the things. So I sat back and I watched for a while. And every time I got another message, I would say something else. And something was still tugging at me. You know, I was working as a nurse, working these crazy shifts, ridiculous hours. I would leave for work anxious. I'd come home exhausted. I was feeling completely burnout. And I'd see my kids for 10 minutes sometimes, you know, on the days that I worked. I was missing holidays. I worked every single Sunday for 9 years. And my schedule was completely opposite as my husband's. And my kids had crazy sports schedules too. So I honestly didn't think that I could add one more thing to my plate. And I was feeling so stretched thin as it was. But I also couldn't imagine living like this for the next 20 plus years. And I knew something had to give. So one day, it just all of a sudden clicked for me. I came home from another long day of work. I was miserable. And I told my husband, that's it. I'm doing this. I'm going to try this and I'm going to see where this takes me. I think I can do it. I don't know how, but these women seem to have so much fun and they seem to have this freedom that I want. And my gosh, they seem just so happy. And I just wanted something fun. So I figured, you know, I wanted to work out. I wanted to work on me. So what if I share that and just see kind of where it takes me? So obviously I did it and I haven't looked back. And gosh, like I look back now and I think I was almost willing to stay in the exact same place and not even give it a shot and try. And that it gives me the chills. So the thing is, we're all so busy. And every person on my team works full time or they mom full time. And we're just busy. We're wearing so many different hats. And I knew when I started, if I wanted to make this work, I needed to be super intentional with my time because I was so busy. So I found pockets of time that I could build my business. And the thing is, we have systems, we have processes, we have trainings that if you follow them, you will 100% be successful. Our trackers that we have, they tell you down to the minute how long you should be spending on each activity that is designed to help you grow. And we share everything. We share resources and ideas. And, you know, we brainstorm together and we share everything so you don't feel like you're reinventing the wheel. So we share everything that we have, all of the tools, all of the resources to help you grow and get started right. And it's up to you to put them into action. So that's what I did. I trusted the process and I found pockets of time where I could spend an hour a day doing this so I could have a better tomorrow. So I got up a little bit earlier. I worked during my lunch break at work. I stayed up an hour or so after the kids went to bed. I listened to training calls on my drive to work. I listened to personal development in the car. I listened to, you know, other training calls while I was folding laundry or making dinner. And I really utilized every small pocket of time that I had on my day. And that's what we teach our coaches to do too. We want you to be super intentional with your time and we share everything and it's designed so you can do this. And it's broken down into 20 minutes of this activity, 20 minutes of this, 5 of this. So you have everything and you can create, you know, a business as big as you want if you're just intentional with your time. And that's what we help you with. And, when I started, it took a little bit of tweaking, but like I got a routine down. And, I told myself, if I have time to scroll social media for an hour before I go to bed, I have time to do this because everybody is on social media. So if we have time to do that, then I kept telling myself I can build this business. And it was fun, and it was so much fun and such a breath of fresh air that I needed. And I know that so many other people need to, because it's just fun. And I just wanted a job that was fun and I felt fulfilled and I didn't feel burnout. So I guess, my advice to you today is, to just try. You need to try until trust the process, because honestly, like the absolute worst thing that can happen is you meet some pretty incredible people and you get some really great results and you feel amazing. So what we do is we will teach you how to be intentional with your time and just use those little pockets of time the best that you can so you can grow. So
yeah. Who else works full time? Who else is like concerned about this taking too much time and not having the time to do it, or were concerned when you got started? Yes, let me see it in the chat. Raise your hand. Worst case, you do a full house TikTok. Boom, right? So full time, Mallory, I know you worked full time when you first started. Like, did you find how long do you feel like you have to work each day to like move your business along?
Well, here's the thing. 90% of my business or more is done on my phone. So I always have my phone on me. It is, how many times have you checked a message or a text message in the day while you're at work? It is literally the same thing. I'm at work and I am like just looking, oh, somebody messaged me. I don't have to get back to them right away. I just get back to them later. Right now, since I'm working from home with this pandemic, I wake up, I literally work in my bed. I just wake up, I grab my phone. How many of you, what is the first thing that you guys do when you wake up? Do you grab your phone and start checking your email and your social media while you're in bed like me? Because that's the first thing I do. So I just sit there, right? I just sit there and I work in my bed when I wake up for, 30 minutes, whatever, until my kids wake up, because I'm not a morning person at all, but it's productive, right? So I just work in my bed. I work over my lunch hour, little, like Mackenzie said, little pockets here and there during my day. But what I found after I started doing this is that I enjoy this work more than my regular day job. So it's way more fun for me to do this than my regular job. So it's like I'm always wanting to do something else. Oh, like when's the next time I can get on and do this? And then the other thing that really helps me is I have a list of like top 3 to 5 things that I need to do that day. I don't get everything checked off my list every day. I've got 2 kids. I have a husband that works full time and he works out of town all the time. He is gone probably half of the month at least. Not right now, but I'm talking usually. He's gone half the time of the month. I've got 2 kids. I've got 2 dogs. You laugh, but dogs, I'm serious. They're like a lot of work. So, and I work full time and I do this side job, right? So I'm not going to get to everything. I just have a list of what are those like 3 to 5 most important things that I need to get done. And I make sure I do them. Everything else, it's like, well, that can wait till tomorrow. I'm not always going to get them all checked off. So that's kind of how I do it with everything going on.
Yeah, that's a great point about being in bed scrolling social media. The same thing. Like, and I remember when I first started, I was like, I can't just lay in bed and scroll social media. I could be working out in those 20 minutes. Like that's what first made me get up and go. But it's the same thing, being able just to use that time more intentionally. Awesome. If you guys have concerns, if you are here and you're like, gosh, I hope they talk about this tonight, please drop it in the chat, because that's what we're here for tonight, is for you to answer your questions, answer your concerns. Okay. So another thing that we really run up against is that people are like, I just don't know if I can put out the money. It scares me to invest in something like this. It scares me, to put money into something. Again, maybe you've tried something before. Maybe, you've been burned in the past. Maybe you've, who knows? You are just scared about the money. And so I think Katie has a really great insight into this, being a stay-at-home mom when she first started. So she's going to kind of shed some light. Katie, how did that kind of affect you?
Yeah, so when I first got started or was approached with the workouts, and they told me that the 80-day obsession program was going to be $180, I was like, like it was that initial like, oh my God, I was a stay-at-home mom. There was a single stream of income, and that initial like price, I didn't even want to tell my husband about it, because I was like, there's no way in tarnation like he would ever allow me to spend $180 on workouts. Like no way, let alone spend $100 every month on shakes. Like there's no way he's gonna let me do this. But it kept tugging at me. It just kept like, every time my friend would check in with me, she'd be like, how are things doing? How are things going? And y'all, I was going to school full time, and I was momming full time. I had my own Etsy shop. Like I didn't have time either, like everybody has that excuse, but like money was my big one. Like I felt so guilty about asking for that, that allowance. We kind of had our personal allowance, and we kind of do funds a little bit differently. But I didn't feel like I wanted to even spend my personal money that I could spend on shopping or, shoes like once every 3 months on workouts. So it kind of came down to, for me personally, it came down to like how much that guilt meant, how big that guilt was, and how big my desire to change was, like how much more I wanted to chase my dreams and do this thing and be fit and feel like myself again. How that desire was bigger than the desire, the guilt associated with the money. I knew, like I had seen people's transformations and stuff, like I was so inspired and I wanted to do it so bad, but like that money kept like really catching me. And then it seemed like the day that I signed up, my friend told me, did you know that if you did this coaching thing that you could actually pay for your challenge pack by helping 3 friends? And I was like, stop, what? Like I was sold. I was like, okay, I'm going to help 3 people. I'm going to pay for it. No harm, no foul. Like I am set. Like I just got a challenge pack for free. And so like, that's initially like what kind of drug me into the coaching thing. I was kind of talking about, doing this 5K on my social media. I was kind of already posting, different things. And I felt like posting those things to my social media, like helped me stay accountable for my fitness journey. It made me not like want to quit because people were like watching me and encouraging me. And I didn't want to kind of let them down. That was a weird feeling. So that's kind of what like set it apart. That kind of gave me the courage to jump when she said, you could pay for this and, just help 3 of your friends and they'll do it with you and you guys will have the greatest time. You'll get awesome results. And that is honestly like what made me transition and decide that my desire to like want to chase my dreams and like do bigger things with my life, give my kids vacations and, travel when I wanted to travel and work from home. Now I work from home again. I kind of was a stay-at-home mom and then I started working full-time again. And now I'm back at home and like this business has just been there through all of it. Like I've been able to stick through it with no matter what season of life, it has been thrown at us, this pandemic. It seems like I'm thriving more on, this situation because I've kind of learned that this business is just going to be here for me and the people and the community are going to be here for me no matter what the situation. And I feel like we as a team are just thriving through this because it's kind of what we're built on.
Dang, Ma, I love that. So Katie, $180, would you spend it again?
Oh my God, yes.
Right? I know when I talk to people, so back in grandma days, my challenge pack was $205 and I got 1 set of DVDs. There wasn't this Beachbody On Demand, all the programs. I got one program and I would spend 10 times over if I knew then what I know now, right?
Yeah,
so
I've told Brandon that several times.
Yeah, it's just that one investment. And, and we see from our side, we see people when they make that investment, you're committed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you've got skin in the game and you just go for it. So yeah, it's a little scary because you're just not really sure maybe on the outside what it looks like. But once you've got skin in the game, you're like, game on, sister. Yeah. Like I just put money out there. I got to make good on that investment and, we're going to make some stuff happen. So those are great points. Yeah. Girls, did you have anything you wanted to touch on cost, how you guys made it work or anything like that? I think she covered it really well. Okay. Victoria has got me having chills over here in the chat. If y'all are not reading this, she's worried about her transformation being large. These are her words, larger and not, and so showing up on social media in that regard. And I think, Crisante, we're going to talk about transformation and starting, right where you're at. and sharing your journey along the way. I think she's got a really great point of view. And Victoria, thank you for sharing that. I'm so excited for you to hear this.
Yeah, and you guys, and like Jess said, if you're not following in the chat, oh my gosh, Victoria, like I'm feeling the same way. I'm over here like chills and like near tears, because this is why you do need this, you know, because you get to be, you know, and what's so funny is so many of you who aren't coaches are following this conversation over here. I can see you and cheering her on, and like that's what we do. Like that's what we get to do as coaches, and it's really, really cool. And so anyway, yeah, so you guys, I'm Chrysanthi, and I have been coaching, it's like 6.5 years, which is crazy. But so like Jess said, when I started out coaching, I came into Beachbody like for the business. So I didn't have this transformation. I had bought a few Beachbody programs like on eBay. And actually, when I was going to buy another one, my husband was like, well, you better sell that one on eBay before, because it's collecting dust. Like, you're not doing it. And so I had like 25 pounds of baby weight to lose. I was a brand new mom. And I saw my coach showing up on social media, and I saw her working out every day. And I just, like, at first I was just interested, like, oh, she's working out every day. That's, you know, whatever. And then I started working out because of her, watching her. And then I realized she was making an income. And so I was like, okay, I think I can do this. Like, I think I can jump in. I wanted to do this T25 program anyway. If maybe I could make some money doing it, like, why not try? And so I started, and I went all in from day one. I'll say that. I went all in. I figured out what it was going to take. I said to her, like, okay, how do you make money in this business? She explained it to me, like, okay, this is what you're going to do. And I had like a map out of how I was going to build my income over the next couple of months. Not thinking anything crazy, but like, you know, diapers and a couple of utility bills was my thoughts. And I went all in with our coach training, and she would give us an assignment and I would do it. And then one day she was like, okay, now post your transformation. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, I didn't sign up for this because I don't have a transformation. And so we were only, you know, it was like a 30-day new coach program or some training. And we were probably like 10 days in, and she wanted us to post our transformation because so many people had come in saying like, oh, you know, I just finished this program and I have a transformation and now I want to be a coach. But that wasn't me. So here I am, first time mom, 3.5 months postpartum, not rocking any abs, never had them in my life. And I'm like, I can't do that. So I had though, from day one of signing up as a coach, I started putting out there my journey. I started sharing like positive quotes. I was sharing like really tacky stuff. If you look back at my old posts, it was like really a miracle people followed me, but people were inspired and they started to follow. And I would be like, did my workout. And sometimes it was just like text, like did my workout, and people started to watch. So I said to the group of girls that I was in this coach training with, some of them are on this call now, which is really cool. And I was like, I can't post a transformation, you guys. I don't have a transformation. Like, I have a newborn. And they're like, no, that's the point. Like, and my coach said, she's like, that's the point. No one's looking for you to show up and be a miracle with abs all of a sudden. Like, they're looking for you to show up and show the journey and be real. And I did it. And I took my picture and I posted, and it wasn't like, you know, I'm dancing in my sports bra every day now just because coaching gives you confidence. But back then it was just a picture of me like in my workout clothes, like pregnant and then not, basically. And I was like, here's what I'm doing, like loving how I feel. I want, you know, other people to do this with me, or however I worded it. And I will tell you that when I reached out to people for liking my post, and I said like, thank you for liking my post or whatever it was, that really was hard for me to put it out there. There were people who came out of the woodwork, people I had not spoken to in like the 15 years that it had been since I graduated high school, that were like, Chrysanthi, I've been watching you every day. Chrysanthi, because of you, I started eating healthier. Chrysanthi, because of you, like I'm getting chills just telling this. My daughter and I went on a walk today. Because of you, I decided like to skip the pork roll, egg and cheese this weekend and have like a healthier breakfast instead. And so even though I didn't have the transformation that I wanted in my mind and what I wanted myself to look like with a six-pack abs, I was showing up and inspiring people. And so you can't be afraid of what like your transformation is. You're always going to be harder on yourself than other people are on you. And there's always going to be somebody that's going to relate to some part of your story. You know, like now, do I want the six-pack abs? Yeah, but I've got 3 kids and I like to drink wine, right? But the point is, like, I have learned that through showing up in my workouts every day, like, I'm fighting for heart health. I'm fighting for health during this time where our society is so unhealthy. I'm fighting for getting through anxiety. I'm fighting for, like, those are the things to show my kids, because now my son, who was a newborn when I signed up as a coach, only knows mommy as a coach, and he's 6.5 and he works out like bonkers, right? So that's the transformation. And so that's the whole thing, is that you show up to show other people how to do the same thing.
Yeah, that's so true. And, and I think I can speak for all of us here, that we've coached through pregnancies, we've coached post baby, so it's never a perfect time, right? Like, you're never at your perfect time and then, oh, it's time, to coach, right? Like, you get to take people on the journey from the starting point, and you build trust along the way. And that's so key, right? Is just being raw and open and vulnerable and just showing all of the steps, because I will tell you, you will get a transformation. You may not have one yet, but you are going to take them on the journey, and you're going to rock it even more. You're going to show up even more for yourself, because you're putting yourself out there and you're being a light and you're inspiring along the way, and you're sharing your struggles and you're sharing your meal plan, you're sharing your workouts every single freaking day. And then 3 weeks later, 80 days later, like whatever it is, you're going to be like, I did that. And they watched you the whole time. And you know what I mean? It's just going to speak for itself. And it's so powerful.
And Jess, I'm just going to add to that and say too, like, once you get over, like, because I saw there were other questions that we're going to address with, like, being salesy and being this and being that. The thing is, when I signed up for this, and I think every person on this call that is a coach, when you sign up, you don't know what's to come. Like, you don't have none of your wildest dreams could fulfill, like, what it actually turns into. Like, I never realized I was going to find my faith. I would never realize I was going to find my best friends. I never realized I was going to travel the world. I never realized I was going to be able to, like, literally change people's lives. And I'm just thinking, like, as you're talking about the seasons, like, it's cool. Jess and I started coaching at the same time. We've been, like, pregnant alternating time. So, like, she'd be pregnant and I'd be watching her, and then I'd be pregnant and I'd be watching her, like, and we would go back and forth. And then there's been times when, like, the world is crazy, right? But I'm in this, like, happy little Beachbody bubble where, like, I just want to make people happy, and I'm surrounded by my people. And I can remember, like, a few years back, I guess maybe it was the last election, and there were, like, protests everywhere. I have a really bad memory, but I think that's what was happening in the world. And there was a group of us who went to a Tony Robbins conference, and we were in California, and where we were, again, really bad memory, but wherever we were, there were, like, literally protests happening. But we were so in this, like, happy little Beachbody bubble that we were like, why isn't everyone here instead? Like, why aren't they at this conference? And even now, like, with the pandemic, and like Katie said, like, I feel like I trained for this shit. Like, I'm schooled in the pandemic thing because of this, you know?
Schooled in pandemic. I love it. That's what we're here for. We're here to be a light, and that's what people need right now, right? Krisanti kind of touched on this, and I wanted to touch on it too, because Caitlin brought it up in the chat about being that girl on social media, being salesy, being the, hey girl, haven't talked to you since middle school, but I'm gonna drop in your DMs and sell you something. Like, who has a fear of that? Raise your hand. Was that kind of like not what I want to do with my life kind of thing? So a little backstory, Mallory and I went to school together. Like, we were roommates at cheer camp in middle school together. She was in my challenge groups for a little while, and I would have never asked her to coach because she's way too pretty and she's way too cool and she's way too successful. But somehow she brought coaching up, and so here she is. But that was her thing. She was like, I don't know if I want to be that girl on social media. But 2.5 years later, I got her. Here she is. She's going to talk about that.
Yeah, that was my biggest fear, because we've all had that, right? Or we've all seen somebody complain about that on social media, like, oh, these girls, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing, how they see you is based on how you run your business. You don't have to be that girl if you don't want to run your business that way. And I don't, and I do not run my business that way, and you don't have to. And I've actually had people come to me and start with me because they said, I like the way you run your business, and you never cold messaged me out of nowhere pretending that you care about me, and that is why I'm joining you. I found too that when I was sharing my journey before I ever became a coach, I was doing 80-day obsession and I was sharing my results because I was getting such amazing results. I was excited about it. So I would just share little things here and there. And what I found is I attracted people to me. So they were coming on and they were saying, "What are you doing?" They were writing in the comments like, what are you doing?" My friends were texting me, "Oh my God, you look amazing. What are you doing? What are you doing?" And then I was like, oh my God, it clicked. I don't have to be that girl, because if you are consistently sharing every single day and you're showing your journey every single day, almost like a fitness diary, people will come to you. They will ask you what you're doing, but you have to show up consistently. You can't just post, once a week or once a month and just say, "Hey, I'm doing this." You have to consistently be out there showing them your struggles, your ups, your downs, your results, everything. And they will be curious. They will be curious and they will ask you what you're doing. And we also, by the way, train you to do that. We talk to you about how to attract people to you in your posts, and how to, do things. If you guys all follow us, you see us put up polls on our stories and you see us put up question box on our stories. That is us getting you guys to come to us so that we know, okay, there is our door. There is our invitation to come to you. That is how we run our business. So you don't have to be that girl. And I never say, "Hey girl," when I message people. I always use their full name, like, "Hey Jessica, hey Sarah," whatever it is. I never say, "Hey girl." I just don't use it because of that whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, let's get real here, friends. We're not selling candles, right? Like, we're not slinging mascara. I love a good mascara. I love some good leggings. I love candles. But this is life-changing shiz we've got, right? Like, this is lowering your blood pressure. This is extending your life. This is making you feel happier and more energetic and like literally extending your life, right? So like, we share unapologetically because we know without a shadow of a doubt, people will get results. People will feel better. They will live longer and happier, right? So I feel like that's a big deal. Katie actually has been involved in other like MLMs, I believe. So she was going to kind of touch on that and how this is different. So maybe has anyone ever done another MLM or been involved in another business? Okay, yes, drop. No, don't drop what you've done, but listen to Katie.
I feel like you were getting ready to say, "Drop it like
Don't do that. Don't do that. Drop it like it's hot."
So I have been a part of a couple different things. Obviously, I already said that I ran my own Etsy shop where literally it was like me and my 1-year-old working and just like pushing shirts out the door. I didn't have somebody sitting there saying like, "Keep going, you're doing great. Like, this is awesome. Just keep that momentum. You're right there. Like, you're in the trenches and we're going to do this and we're going to do it together and we're going to link arms." None of that. I was like working late nights by myself, trying to listen to music to pump me up. And the other thing I did was paparazzi. And you guys, like Jess said, it's jewelry. It's not going to change your life, right? So I think when I first started like sharing and like helping people, y'all, like, it's so crazy because the more people I helped, like the desire, that high of helping someone like achieve their goal was like, I gotta have that again. Like, I gotta do it again. I know that I can do this. And like getting those messages from people saying that you're like Jess said, lowering their blood pressure, taking them off their medicine, stuff like that is like life altering. And it just made me hungry for more, helping more people and helping more people. And I wasn't helping people selling jewelry, and I didn't have the team to sit there and like give me all the tools that I needed to help me with the trainings, to, help me rank advance when I wanted to rank advance, grow more income when I wanted to grow more income. Like, I didn't have that. There was just no team at all. It was everybody's trying to get, X, Y, and Z and steal all these friends so that I can have their, that I can get their orders and this and that. And it was just so competitive, like so competitive in other MLMs, I feel like, especially the ones that I have been a part of. And I didn't want that. I wanted a team that was going to say, I can succeed and you can succeed right alongside me. and there's no competition. We're not going head to head. This is like, here, I'm going to grab your arm and lift you up with me. I've never been a part of something like that. And I was a dancer in college. I was on a dance team, and even in college, the petty girls, I mean, you know how it is. Like, I've never been a part of anything where women help women. And this team is like literally the rising tide lifts all the boats in the harbor. And it is like mind blown. Like when you get to be a part of that, it's like, it's totally amazing. I love it.
I know when I started, I didn't know what an MLM was. Like I swear, like for the first like 2 years of my business, no idea, absolutely no clue. I went into this knowing that I wanted to help people. I wanted to feel good about myself. I wanted somebody else to feel as good as I felt. And I wanted to link arms with people who wanted that same thing. And that is what drove my business. I no idea what an MLM was, no idea. So like when you go into it and you lead from the heart and you are genuine and you want to truly help people, that's what's going to grow your business. And it just comes naturally when you lead from the front and you go into it with that kind of heart. Like it doesn't matter that you're in an MLM or what it is that you're doing. You just want to link arms with the right people. And the community here and the team is seriously like no other. Like I have met my best friends doing this, and I cannot imagine doing anything else. I say all the time I'm going to sell toothpaste, but I never really would. But like this is it. Like this is my heart. These are my friends. And to be able to welcome new people into like our circle and link arms with them and help them, you know, grow, you know, their own business and feel fulfilled and feel good about themselves. It's truly there's no better feeling than that. And I think that's what drives us and keeps us excited to get up in the morning and hit the ground running and truly have a job that we love and enjoy and want to do every single day. Because every single job I've had, I've hated. Like at some point I've hated. And this is it. Like I cannot imagine doing anything else. It's just
True.
like
Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys give me
I
all the
also
feels.
like how we're different in that in other MLMs that maybe sell a product, it's kind of like they sell the product and that's it. Like that's the end, right? But when we sell our service or what we have to offer, that's when it begins. It's not like, okay, there you got it, bye. That's when like, okay, now we're like linking arms with these people and we're taking them through it. We get to go through the whole journey with them. And that is, I just feel like it's so different from any other MLM. And that's also why I joined this company, just because of that reason right there.
Yeah, that's
well,
a really great point.
And I also feel like on that note, like there's so many people, like when you start an MLM, you kind of think to yourself, well, she's done it. Like all these people have done it. There's so many coaches, like you kind of get in your own head, but like when you think about it, like somebody needs to hear your story. Like they don't, you know, if they have seen other coaches do it and they haven't joined them, there's a reason for that. Like there's probably a message in you that you are trying to get out, that you have to get out. You have to share it because it's gonna hit somebody. And it's somebody needs that, you know, somebody needs to get off their medicine. Somebody needs to, you know, somebody needs that boost in their life to find themselves again, to look in the mirror and know who they are again. And not every single person out there has done that, you know?
Yeah. Hashtag feelings. I like that, Mackenzie. We don't really have the feels, so they're there. Okay, so one of the fears I think people struggle with is the whole social media aspect, posting, you know, sharing their life on social media, sharing, you know, their transformation and their journey on social media. Does anyone kind of struggle with that? Like maybe you don't have a lot of, maybe you don't even post on social media, right? Like, so maybe that'll be something new. So Crisanti, did you kind of struggle with that? And how did you kind of overcome that?
So when I first started, I never posted on social media. Like if I were to post on social media, it would be like, hey, need a Mother's Day recipe, or hey, need a restaurant to go to. It was like strictly like, basically like, I don't have a yellow book. I need some answers here. To the point that my mom would get mad and be like, are you going to post pictures of the baby? I'm like, I don't do that, Mom. And now here I am. So I think in the beginning, because people ask me this all the time, like, how are you so natural? Like, if you guys follow me on social media, you know, I'm all over stories. I like to go live. I actually feel like I have found my voice and I actually enjoy sharing what I have to say. But this is going to sound kind of crazy. From the beginning, I never really thought about like who was going to view it negatively, I guess. Like I can remember in the very beginning, like when I would invite people to like my business page at the time on Facebook, I was like, not them. No, they'll probably think weird. And then I was like, who? I remember one day being like, who cares? Click, 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 click. And I think the shift happened. Like I almost was like, I took on a different persona, not in a fake way. Like I feel like I'm very genuine, but in a way that like, hey, I've got this message to share. You know, I'm not talking to like this person who I'm worried about judging me. I'm talking to the person who needs to hear whatever it is that I have to say. And so for me, it was like a natural progression of like, all right, you know what? I'm going to put up a motivational quote. I'm going to put up something that speaks to me today. And in the beginning, I would like really just type in the morning, like motivational quote, or like recently I would ask Alexa, like, hey, give me a daily affirmation. And I would share that, like just things that were really like relatable that I felt like were value-based. And I would just share my journey, and I would share the hard stuff. And I've shared my postpartum depression. I have shared my growing in my faith. I've shared so many things. And it's just been like a natural progression. But the thing is, and this is what I want you to cling to, instead of thinking about that one person or even that group of people who are going to be like, oh my gosh, did you see her post? She's doing that now. She's so annoying. Think about that one person whose life you're truly going to change. I will tell you that the first person who sent me a message and told me that like 2 weeks into coaching that I was like making an impact and inspiring them and changing their lives. Her name is Debbie Higgins. I grew up with her. I grew up in a town that was like, I think it's less than a quarter of a mile radius. Like it's super small. So like I graduated with 45 people, you guys, like it's crazy. Grew up with this girl, but then like lost touch with her, hadn't talked to her for years. And one day she just messaged me on Facebook, the last person in the world that I probably would have ever expected to hear from. And she told me that I was inspiring her. And I literally clung to that. So if I was afraid to post, I was like, Debbie Higgins. If I was afraid to invite someone, Debbie Higgins. And let me tell you, I've been coaching for 6.5 years ago, like I said. About a year ago, Debbie Higgins reached out to me and she was like, Chrysanthi, I quit smoking today. Because of you, I quit smoking cigarettes today. And I was like, oh my God, like, because of me, you quit smoking? Like, that's crazy. But she just, if there's someone who likes my post, it's her. Like, it's her and my mom, you know? I spoke to her. And for 5.5 years, she was never a customer of mine. She didn't buy a single thing. But I would constantly reach out and be like, Deb, how you doing? Deb, how's it going? Comment on her stuff. How's your daughter? Because she'd be like, because of you, like I'm teaching my daughter to eat cleaner. Because of you, like I can now walk with my daughter because I quit smoking. It's been 6 months since I quit smoking. I started running. I've lost 10 pounds. And I wasn't doing anything except showing up on social media. And she started making changes. And then finally she was ready. And she said, I want to try that shake that you drink. And she tried it. And I was here for her, and I'm here for her still. But I'll always go back to her because there's going to be some jackass who's going to talk about you behind your back. But the thing is, you come into this and you realize like you were put in this world for a purpose. And you might think I'm crazy right now to say like, so posting on social media is part like fulfilling your purpose for God. But let me tell you something. It is like we were given this platform. And we see that now more than ever when people are on social media for forever, like your kids taking karate lessons and tap lessons on your freaking computer, right? Like this is where it's at. And there's someone who needs to hear you. And that small voice needs to be the loud thing for you. So.
Yeah. And social media has no limits, right? Like you can only talk to so many people face to face. You only have so many phone numbers, but like you just bust your, opportunity wide open when you're on social media. So if it's something, listen, if you want to change one person's life, think of how many you could actually change if you just put it out there. How many, people could you actually touch with your story? Like Katie said, you have a story that needs to be heard. And the more people that hear it, the more chance you have to change their life and to touch their heart and, to get them where they need to be. Michelle had a really great point. She said, people come and go. I see coaches come and go and quit and start and quit and start. Like, how can I actually make this work? And I want to speak to this because being one of the older coaches on here, 6.5 years like Chrysanthi, the only way to make it work is to not frickin' quit. Okay. So you see people come and go, but they didn't have that mentality. Like, I'm in it for the long haul. Y'all, when you sign up today, I want to see you here a year from now. 1 year from now, I want to see you on a leadership call, on something like this, speaking, trying to help people get started in their own business. Like, you are not going to be a millionaire next month. Okay. When you sign up, your goal is to help people start changing their life, and you grow and you learn and you build. It's not going to happen overnight. And I think people sign up and they're like, oh, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to make some money. And yeah, we're going to make money. I want you to make money. I want you to make lots of money, but it's not going to happen in a month, right? It's not going to happen in 2 months. And people get very impatient. But if you can settle in, dig some roots, build and grow, you're going to become a better version of yourself first and foremost. You're going to help a lot of freaking people, and you're going to build a really rock solid business. But it's going to take some time, and it's going to take hard work. And there's been a lot of times, listen, I spun out today and messaged my coach, and I was like, I'm super frustrated. Help me, talk me off the ledge. Like, it's going to happen, right? But you just stay rooted in your purpose, trust the process, and know that you're going to succeed as long as you keep going. Have a vision, have a bigger vision and a bigger purpose, and a why that ties you to it all. Like, why do you want to coach? Why are you on this call? Because I promise you, it's not an accident. There's a reason you clicked a link, typed in your email, and you're sitting on this Zoom call listening to us. It's not an accident, okay? So I want you to reach out to your coach and tell her you're all in. Ask her more questions, dig in a little bit deeper, because we are here for you to link arms and run if you're ready to run. Like, that's what we're here for. Okay, guys? Do you guys have any other questions? Is there anything else you guys want to touch on? Because we want to keep this short and sweet. We want to answer your questions, but we don't want to drag it on. Like, we got Trulies to drink. I mean, I could do it on here. But we so appreciate you guys hopping on. Thank you, Chrysanthi, Mackenzie, Mallory, Katie, for sharing. We love you so much. If that's it, we'll let you guys go. Hope you guys have a great night. Reach out to your coach, and let's do this. So pumped to welcome you guys to the team. Separate account.
Hi,
I do not
guys.
have a separate account because my life, this is my life. I just share my life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a separate account. Nope. Is there anything else? I don't want to miss anybody. You're welcome. Thank you for hopping on. Should I play some more music?
Bye, guys.
See ya. Are you done? Make sure we're not missing anything. We can end with the dance party.
I want it to end.